Not all of it, most of them.
So, like, would you say like almost all the shelters are overcrowded?
Most of them.
And why do you think like there is not this war on homelessness?
It's a structure of the society. All right. The rich man has to have a tax write-off.
I beg your pardon?
The rich man has to have a tax write-off.
I mean, but don't you see that as a problem though? There is a war on drugs, but not a war on homelessness.
Actually, DC's been putting a lot of people in homes.
I beg your pardon?
They've been putting a lot of people in homes.
I mean, no, I'm talking about like what actually DC is doing much better in terms of like marijuana, but like in general though in the
I've
US,
seen, I've seen a lot of people getting in homes lately.
I mean DC is doing slightly better in terms of like
Yeah.
putting people in jail in terms of like marijuana use, but in terms of like homelessness, no. Why is there not a war on homelessness, but there is a war on drugs? Do you not find that strange? That the US government would declare war on drugs and terrorism instead of war on homelessness, which is pretty much very much rampant. Do you not find that weird?
You cut me off when I was trying to explain it to you
Okay.
earlier. All right. The churches have to have somebody to give stuff to. The rich man, when he writes his tax write-offs in December, that's why all this stuff floods in Christmas time. Have you ever been out here at Christmas time?
Yes, I mean I'm
All right.
familiar with
And
DC.
they're talking all kind of, they bring a lot of stuff. And the rich man donates to the churches, and the churches give to the poor.
Do you believe
And
that
that's,
to be true?
yeah, they give a lot to the poor. They really do. And then all year long, a lot of them do. They've backed down a little bit lately. It's not hasn't been as many people coming out giving stuff.
What do you
But
think of George Carlin?
George Carlin,
Yes, he talks about a lot about
he tells
churches.
it like it is. He pretty much tells it like it is.
He talks a lot about churches
Right.
too. Do you believe there's corruption within the church?
Oh hell yeah!
What do you think of like recently like they've
Listen, all right, I'll give you one good example of corruption in the church. All right, and you can go back and do your history on the Catholic Church.
yes, the Catholic Church, especially with
Especially.
regards to children and whatnot, there was like
More
a
than
big
that.
corruption.
More than that.
Oh yeah?
All right. It was the popes and the king that killed the main people of the Knights Templar. You ever heard of them?
No, it's the
were,
first time.
They were the knights, Christian knights, okay? And they had banks, built roads, owned roads, all kind of stuff. Well, the king and the pope got together because they wanted the money and they wanted the Knights Templars out of the way. And they killed a bunch of them under the word heresy. All right?
And when was this?
Thousands of years ago.
Okay.
All right? Now,
No, but I'm talking as
Now.
much as like recently though.
I'm working up to it. Okay. Um, Abraham Lincoln,
What about him?
John Wilkes Booth. Okay. They try to say John Wilkes Booth was a Southerner, but John Wilkes Booth was a Jesuit priest.
Who's the person you mentioned? Is it the person who killed him?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember he was killed, but like I do not know who killed him though.
Okay. John Wilkes Booth was the one who killed Abraham Lincoln. You can go right down here to Ford's and find out all the facts, but they won't tell you that it was a Jesuit priest that killed him. John Wilkes Booth was a Jesuit priest, the long arm of the Pope that did the Pope's dirty work.
But they won't tell you a lot of things though.
And
Like,
that's right. And you go back and some of your history books tell you the Jesuit priests were all over the country back then.
do you believe like
Now,
there's cover-ups?
oh yeah, look how long they covered up them rape, molesting boys and those molesting girls.
All right.
All right, how long they've been covering that shit up?
I know.
Thousands of years.
You're right. I believe there's cover-ups going on.
Now, look at all
And
this,
like
look at all this mass migration.
migration.
Yeah, all these people flooding into different countries, just like this country. All right.
But America is made up of immigrants.
Well, illegal immigrants, no.
What do you mean? Who do you consider to be illegal immigrants?
The ones that fly in the country under under the cloud of darkness and get shipped in by trucks and stuff like that.
But before everyone got here,
There's 4 million standing in line. And listen close. Barack Obama and Eric Holder were sending food stamps and cell phones down to Mexico.
no, they're not.
Yes, they were too.
What did you read that?
I got it all in my news on my Facebook.
But what did you read that? How are you citing your sources?
Huh?
Who's your source? Who's saying that to you?
I've got a bunch of different sources.
But who are they?
They're all news groups.
Which newspaper in particular?
There's no newspaper, news groups. One that the people like me that expose the stuff that's happening.
Which news group
That
are you
the news
talking
groups
about?
won't talk about. That the news groups will not talk about.
Well,
Right?
I am an investigative journalist, and I can tell you for sure that no one is sending food stamps to Mexico. At least I have not read anything that suggests that they're
I was
sending.
getting it several years ago.
Well, at least to my knowledge, that's just not happening.
That's your knowledge. I'm telling you, I was getting it on my website years ago.
Well,
I'm the one that exposed them coming across the border back in 2006, coming into California, and they were getting anywhere but $3,500 a month food stamps.
well, if you look at American history, actually, before everybody got here, there were the American Indians that were living here. Before Christopher Columbus
I'm
discovered.
part Indian.
I beg your pardon?
I'm part Cherokee.
Yes.
My mom was half Cherokee,
Yes.
so I'm from both sides of the fence. I do my homework from both sides.
Yes. And so, before everyone got here, the American Indians were living here. And so,
And
I
they
believe-
didn't
and then,
just
of
come in
course-
and start killing everybody. They bought property. They gave gold and jewelry and everything else for property.
well, actually, that's not exactly how
Yes,
it went
it is.
down.
It's in your history book.
Well, I've read the history books. It's not exactly like that. I actually I wish people read stuff with me. So and I wish
Like
people.
what?
Well,
Like food stamps not going down to Mexico?
well, it goes back to who you're reading, because if you are reading
I'm saying the same thing to you.
if you're reading the history books they are providing in colleges, that's not exactly what they're saying. The colleges they're providing in history books are saying
They're
that
not saying it.
no, they're not
Buddy,
saying
I learned
that.
that shit in the 4th grade down in Florida in a hunky-dunky little doohickey school.
Well, I believe I'm not sure what you have been reading though, but
History books.
well,
School
actually,
standard history books.
actually no. Texas
4th grade.
Texas was stolen. Texas was stolen from Mexicans, and they were not compensated even. And so and this is not
The
me saying
United
so.
States government has bought
This is
millions of acres from.
no. We've gone over this with people like Mark Bolton. I'm not sure even if you're familiar with historians like him, but we've gone over this with people like Mark Bolton and several other historians who are telling it like it is. I mean, at least in classrooms they are telling it like it is.
Yeah.
They are telling it, and we've gone over this. At least that's what the history books are saying, that the land was stolen from them and that they were not even compensated properly afterwards.
From Mexico?
Texas
That's what I'm talking. From Mexico.
Yes,
That was part
from
of Mexico.
Mexicans. Yes, it was part of Mexico. Even California was stolen from Mexicans.
That's right.
Yes, and they were not compensated for it. And so, when you said that they were given gold and whatnot, that's not exactly true.
I didn't say they were given gold. I said they were paid for millions of acres.
That's exactly it. They were not. I mean, I
Now,
guess
during
I
the
don't know.
war,
I
now,
guess
when-
no.
down
They were
in,
not paid. They were not paid. The land was taken from them and they were chased out. Actually, another thing Europeans brought when they came to this American land is
Yeah.
disease. Disease killed a lot of American Indians.
That's right.
Yes, that
Several
actually
diseases.
yes, that actually wiped them out. And so two things that happened is
Wiped who out?
they wiped them out and they
Wiped
didn't even
who?
pay for
Who?
land. I beg your pardon?
Who they wipe out?
The American Indians were wiped out. I believe
There's still American Indians out here. They didn't wipe them all out.
well actually they were wiped out. There were 50 million of them when the European came. This 50 million of them. How many are them? How many of them are there now? 50
There
million
were
of
not
them. That was
billion- there
that was
wasn't
300
50
years
million
ago.
of them back then.
Yes, 50 million. Are you saying there are 50 million American Indians right now? That would be 1/6 of the U.S. population, because the U.S. is over 300 million. No. So they were wiped out and they were chased away from their land. And this is basic statistics. And this is even documented like everywhere. There
Yes,
was,
parts of it was
yes,
wiped out. Parts of them were
I mean,
wiped
like,
out. Not
I,
all of them.
I mean, how
And there's
many
sure
how
fucking
many
what,
American
50 million
Indians?
of them back
There's
there.
not even 10 million American Indians. There's not even 20% of the American Indian population left. And since then, like, the population of the U.S. has, how would you say, grown sixfold, from 50 million before nobody discovered this continent, or we now have 300 million people, and yet the
What
American.
school do you go to?
I beg your pardon?
What school do you go to?
Well, I used to go to. I went to every school. I visited every school.
Every school.
Yes.
Every school.
Well, for example, I went to first Westminster College.
Yeah.
I visited William Woods, and then I went to Washington University. Uh, I visited Georgetown. I visited like George Washington recently.
So you walk in the front door, turn around, and come back out?
No, I actually went to school for a few years, but since then, though, like I'm having a hard time finding a school that's right for me.
Huh.
So like I'm definitely having like.
I wonder why.
Well, I believe I know why, but I think nobody's really talking honestly anymore, and nobody's willing to read over stuff with you and like talk honestly with you. I think that's mainly the reason.
Because you're going to the wrong sources.
Well, that would be your opinion, but my sources are cited though.
You got me wondering about that, buddy.